busy because he has got another program. So let's start without no wasting time. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So, a very warm good afternoon and welcome to all. I, on behalf of the Department of English, would like to convey my sincere gratitude and thankfulness to Dr. Pankaj Kumar Devnath, Honorable Principal, Cooch Behar College, whose inspiration has made it possible for us to organize such a special lecture for our students. We are honored to have you, sir, in this special lecture session, and we are extremely happy to welcome you, sir. Now, I, on behalf of the Department of English, Cooch Behar College, would like to express my sincere gratitude and thankfulness to Dr. Joydeep Bhattacharyya, Associate Professor, Department of English, Kurseong College, for accepting our invitation to deliver the special lecture for our first semester students. We are honored for your valuable presence in this platform, and we are extremely happy to welcome you, sir. I would like to thank my departmental colleagues for their immense cooperation to organize this special lecture. I welcome all the students on behalf of the Department of English, Cooch Behar College, to this special lecture session, which is an occasion of learning and enlightenment. Now, I would like to request the Honorable Chairman of today's special lecture session, our respected Principal Sir, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Devnath, to deliver the inaugural speech. So now it's over to our Principal Sir.
So good afternoon to all of you present here. At the outset, I would like to convey my sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. Joydeep Bhattacharyya, Associate Professor, Department of English, Kurseong College, Kurseong, for his consent to deliver a lecture on the occasion of the special lecture series, which is organized by Department of English for the students of 4th semester. So this is a great opportunity for the students of the 4th semester of Department of English to hear from you, sir. So definitely the students will be benefited, and in turn we also will be benefited the overall the progress of
or what are the similarities existing between these two terms, which are very much familiar with us, that is drama and theater. Okay, so after this, in order to search this relationship between drama and theater and the ideas, in order to make the ideas about drama and theater clear to you, I will go back to the origin of theater. Origin of theater means, obviously, I'm going to go to the Greek origin. That means the origin of Greek theater and drama. Okay. And while discussing about this origin, I will also discuss about the ritual. Because when you discuss about the origin of theater, what becomes most important is that you need to understand what is ritual and what is the connection between ritual and drama. Okay. And then in the next part, I will try to discuss, after having discussed the origin of drama in relation to ritual, then I will try to discuss the evolution of the universal absolute structure of drama. What is this? I will make these things clear as I go by. Evolution, that means how the traditional concept of drama, how the universal concept of drama has evolved over the centuries. From this Greek origin, how this evolution has taken place and what is this particular universal absolute structure of drama. Okay. Then in the next part, we'll arrive at the 20th century. And 20th century means my focus will be on this playwright, that is Bertolt Brecht. I will focus on Brecht or Brechtian theater in relation to this universal absolute structure of drama. What is Brecht? What is his theater? And what is the significance of Brechtian theater or Brecht's theater in relation to this universal absolute structure of drama? Okay. And in the final part, the last part of my discussion, which is perhaps the most important, here I will try to focus on theater as performance. That means this phase can also be called the post-Brechtian phase of theater. So what is this? What does this mean, theater as performance? Or what is post-Brechtian theater? That I will try to make things clear as I go to the last phase. So when we reach this last phase of our discussion, I hope that this particular relationship between drama and theater, what is drama and theater, this will be fully clear to you as I reach here in this last phase of my discussion, that is theater as performance. Okay, so this is the outline. Let's move to the next slide. That is the main body of my discussion here. You see here some definitions have been given. Some definitions that which I have chosen here out of the many definitions regarding drama and theater. I have chosen some very simple definitions, but at the same time, these definitions they are called the most traditional definition of the universal idea of drama and theater. The most traditional definitions, they are not any uncommon or unknown definitions to us. All of you, very much familiar with these definitions. I've chosen some very, well familiar sources here. You can see the M.H. Abrams, Martin Esslin, and all these. So what is drama? What do you know by the term drama? When we say drama, first, it comes to our mind is that this is the form of composition designed for performance in the theater. Okay, so it's a composition. It's a written composition which has been written, which has been designed or written for performance in the theater, in which actors take the roles of the characters, perform indicated action, and utter the written dialogue. So you just give special focus on these underlined sections. So here in drama, what we find that it's a written composition. And here, when it has been taken to the stage for performance, what happens there? that characters, they are performing some indicated action. Okay, this phrase is very important, indicated action. And they are also uttering some written dialogues. Okay. And the other name of this kind of drama is also a play. So two things are important. Characters are performing indicated action and they are uttering written dialogue. Then look at the second definition by Martin Esslin. The basic ingredient of drama is heightened intensity of incidents and emotion. And then he's saying the most common feature of drama is that they are mimetic action. They are mimetic action. These words are very important. So drama, Martin Esslin, he's not saying anything new. He is saying the most common thing, that drama must be mimetic action. And this, the idea of mimesis, this mimetic action, you know, that this idea of mimesis has been taken from that one and only source, that is Aristotle's Poetics. So what we find, so there takes place mimesis, mimetic action, mimesis or mimesis, whatever you want to say. Now, in the third definition, again by Martin Esslin, you see, what makes drama is precisely the element which lies outside and beyond the words, and which has to be seen as an action or acted. So drama is a written composition which has been designed for performance. Performance is important, but for what purpose? To give the author's concept its full value. This is very important. So drama is a written composition where performance is very important, but how much important the performance is? It has to give the author's concept. Author's concept. Who is the author? The author of the play. The author who writes the play. Okay? And he is the playwright. He is the playwright. So the purpose of performance, okay, can you hear me?
Shubhajit, mute yourself. Shubhajit, can you hear me?
Okay. So keep yourself muted so that others can understand it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So what we find here in these definitions, these are the most traditional definition of the universal concept of drama, that drama has to be a written composition, and there, whenever it is taken to the performance, the actors, they are performing indicated action. Indicated means whatever is written in the text, whatever is written in the dramatic text, that has to be performed. That action has to be performed, nothing else. And whatever dialogues they are going to utter on the stage, it has to be the written dialogue in the text. Dialogues which are written in the text. Then, secondly, drama has to be mimesis or mimetic action. That means it must imitate the external reality. And one of the most important requirement of mimesis is that when drama imitates reality, it claims that it represents the real reality. That means it represents the real. Whatever is shown in the drama, whatever is shown on the stage in the performance of drama, it is because of the mimesis, it is the real reality. Audience must believe in it. Audience cannot doubt this reality. And this is the purpose of mimesis. And then finally, here in the third definition, the most important thing or the most important ingredient of this drama is the author himself, the playwright himself or herself. So the performance, what is the purpose of the performance? The performance is to give the author's concept, the playwright's concept, its full value and nothing else. Okay? Then if you look at the definition of theater, the traditional definition of theater, it comes, you know, from the Greek word theatron, means watching, to behold something, to watch something. But when we comes at the traditional definition of theater, what we find, this is by a very famous theater critic, Rick Noyles. Here he is saying, theater is the interpretative enactment of a stable, universal dramatic text. So what is important in theater? Not the performance on its own. The most important thing is the stable, universal dramatic text. And what the performance is doing? It is nothing but the interpretative enactment, performance of this stable, universal dramatic text. So the dramatic text, which is the play text written by the author, written by the playwright, it must be the stable and universal text. It cannot be changed. This is unchangeable. This is unalterable. This cannot be conflicted. It has to be followed. The performance must be loyal to this universal dramatic text, and that is theater. Okay. But the important thing is that when theater was originated in Greece, in ancient Greece, actually, I'm referring to the ancient Greece, the time of Euripides, Sophocles, and Aeschylus. During that time, when theater was originated from ritual, theater, the definition of theater or the idea of theater was not like this. Theater was performance-centric, not text-centric. It was not text-centric. There was no, publication of text during that time. Theater was performance. But what happened actually when theater, the Greek theater, when it was theorized almost 100 years after the great Greek tragedians or tragedy writers like Euripides, Aeschylus, and Sophocles, almost 100 years or more than 100 years after them, Aristotle came, and Aristotle theorized the Greek drama or Greek tragedy, which is the most important, type of drama in Greece. So Aristotle has written poetics, okay? And he has given a clear-cut definition of drama. And there he has also theorized, he has also laid down the structure, the divisions, the unities, the plot, purpose, everything he has talked about. And he has given a very clear definition and explanation, analysis of tragedy, that what should be tragedy. But the problem is that this discussion of Aristotle never said that this has to be the thing and you cannot, go beyond it. Aristotle's words, Aristotle's description actually in poetics about drama, this description of Aristotle, this has been taken for prescription. Prescription by whom? By the playwright or the theater practitioners of the later centuries, particularly in Europe or more particularly in England. And when we look at the British drama or the English drama, and the most important phase of English drama, that is in the Elizabethan phase or Elizabethan period, we see that Aristotle's description has become the gospel truth for the development of Western drama. So Western drama, which is the European drama, this has been built exclusively on the discussion of Aristotle regarding drama and theater. And thereby, starting from the Elizabethan period, they are developed the concept of absolute drama. This term, absolute drama, has been used by a particular theater critic in the 20th century. So therefore, I'm using this term absolute drama. So why it is called absolute? Because it has some absolute rules and regulations which cannot be violated. So there began a tradition of Western drama which is called the concept of absolute drama. And this absolute drama, it draws its inspiration from the Aristotelian concept of drama or tragedy. Okay, so I just try to make these things, basic things, clear to you. So what is the traditional definition of drama and theater to us? the most common definitions regarding the universal concept of drama. These are the universal drama, the universal concept. Everybody agrees with it. And where from it is coming? The source is Aristotle. And then the problem actually arises that when it becomes the concept of, when it becomes the concept of absolute drama down the centuries, when Aristotle's description has become the gospel truth or the prescription, some inviolable rules. And from these inviolable rules, the concept of drama or the Western drama, it has evolved. And if you look at this concept starting from Christopher Marlowe or William Shakespeare, and till the time of, say, George Bernard Shaw in the 20th century, this concept of absolute drama, it is the most dominant. And even beyond that, even, in our current time, so many other experimentals, so many other experimentations, so many other new things are coming in the field of theater. So many new ideas are coming up. But even then, still now, this traditional definition of drama, we can say that it is still very, very dominant. Okay. Now, which I'm going to discuss later, that this idea of absolute drama, it comes to face a challenge in the 20th century. That's why 20th century is very important. And here, who are actually giving the challenge to this concept of absolute drama? Especially Bertolt Brecht, as I said earlier, and the other avant-gardists. Like many other experimental theaters, we have seen theater of absurdity, theater of cruelty, many others. So all have come here to give a challenge to the concept of universal drama. And most important among them is Brecht. And also after that, we will discuss that what happens after Brecht. What happened after Brecht in the field of theater. Okay. So I hope these things are clear to you, the traditional description of or the traditional definition of drama and theater. Okay. Now let us go to the next slide here. Now I'm going back to the origin. You know, these things are very much familiar with you because since you are the students of 4th semester, so in your previous semesters when you studied Greek drama, I think many of you have studied all these things, that how drama was originated. Now, drama, when we discuss about the origin of drama, how it was originated, how it came into being, it did not come into being in one fine morning. It was a long process. Now, when we discuss about the origin of Greek drama, we need to understand what is ritual. We need to understand that first. Now, very briefly here, again, I'm giving some very simple definitions that what is a ritual. If you look at the Oxford Dictionary, you will see that ritual is a series of actions that are always performed in the same way. Very important, these underlined sections, especially as part of a religious ceremony. It can be secular, but it is mostly religious in nature and always performed in the same way. Some pattern is there. Some systematic pattern must be there, and it has to be repeated. So M.H. Abrams is also talking about ritual, and what he said, set forms and procedures in sacred ceremonies. So what we find ultimately is that rituals are recurrent in nature, repeated in a patterned, systematic way, mostly religious or sacred in nature, but they can also be secular. So this is the most important features of ritual. It has to be recurrent, repeated in a patterned, systematic way. Okay. Now, what is the connection between ritual and drama? Why ritual and drama? According to the anthropologists as well as theater scholars, why they are connecting drama with ritual? Some important, these are the names of some very important 20th century theater scholars. So they are saying that rituals are closely akin to dramatic presentations. And Catherine Bell, more clear that why they are connected, because performative dimension of rituals. Performative dimension. Ritual is performance. And what kind of performance? This is systematic, patterned performance. Some action is happening. That's why it is performance. But what kind of? Is it irregular, random performance? No. It is very much, sorry. It is very much systematic. It is very much, patterned. It follows a pattern. That's why it is called patterned. Performative action. That is deliberate, self-conscious doing. What is the meaning of this term, self-conscious doing? I will come to this later. So, ritual is connected with drama because ritual is also performative action. It has a performative dimension. Okay. And then Martin Esslin is saying, Martin Esslin is saying, in ritual, we have the common root of music, dance, poetry, and drama. And gradually, what happened in the subsequent process, drama developed into spoken drama, ballet, opera, musical comedy. So many other types and forms are coming up. So, but initially, what happened? Drama, whether drama or music or anything, it came from the source, that is ritual. Now, the anthropologists as well as theater scholars, they have also pointed out another aspect regarding the origin of drama and theater. That is, they talked about this one, I have written it in bold, the basic human instinct for survival and evolution. Why this is important? Because they are saying that, okay, theater is coming from ritual, but where from the rituals are coming? What is the source of the ritual? How they have been produced, how they have been formed. We need to go to the further source. What is that? A very important critic, theater scholar, George Thompson, he is saying in a very simple, I have chosen this particular quotation because this is very simple to understand. He is saying that ancient hunters studied the behavior of the animals they wanted to catch. So here he is referring to the hunting rituals, how the hunting rituals were produced. So in the ancient time, in the most ancient time of human civilization, what happened or what might have happened, that humans, they were hunters. And they needed to hunt for what? For their survival. For their survival, they needed food. And therefore, they needed to hunt wild animals. And while hunting the animals, they needed some strategy of hunting. What should be the hunting strategy? For that, what they started doing, they studied the behavior of the animals they wanted to catch. Maybe it may be a deer. So they started watching the deer very carefully. Its movement, its gesture, its posture, its character, overall character. And then they started performing, they started imitating the deer. They started imitating the deer as performance. So that's why Thompson is saying, from here developed mimetic rites in which the animal is imitated. Okay, and where the rite functions to anticipate the success of the search for food. So they started imitating the deer, for example, and they started some mimetic ritualized performances. They started, by imitating. It may be, a combination of song, dance, body movements, okay? And during that ritualized performance, they also sought for divine blessing for the success of the hunt. So thereby, in combination of all these things, in that particular context, there evolved a particular ritualized performance. That is the hunting rites. The hunting rites or hunting rituals, which are very, very common in almost all civilizations across the globe. If you look at the ancient history of the civilizations, in most, even in India as well as Africa, Latin America, wherever, this is the most common ritual across all civilizations, hunting ritual. So why this is important? Because from here, the ritual or ritualized performance where mimesis happened. So such a ritual is taking place. And from this ritual, gradually you will see that drama has been evolved. Drama and theater has been evolved. So that's why this particular portion is very important. Drama is coming from ritual, and ritual is coming from the basic human instinct for survival and evolution. I think this portion is clear to you. So let me go to the next slide. Now this one. This is the origin of Greek drama. Now you are familiar with these terminologies, many of the terminologies here. Now, like all other civilization, the Greek civilization, it also, had quite a number of rituals, ritualized performances. And the most important ritual that we find, which is the most popular ritual, in fact, that is the festival of, the festival of Dionysus or Dionysus, or Dionysus, whatever, both are correct. So festival of Dionysus. Dionysus, the god of wine, vegetation, fertility, and so many other, dimensions are there to this particular god. And he is one of the most popular gods in the ancient Greek civilization. So here, the festival of Dionysus took place. And this was a huge festival, the most popular festival in ancient Greece. And during this festival, what happened? There we find a particular type of ritualized performance, which is called the dithyramb. Dithyramb means, this, it's a chorus. It's a choral hymn, which is sort of mantra in praise of the god Dionysus. So this choral hymn was taking place in the festival of Dionysus. And in this choral hymn, we see that song, dance, music, everything was happening. So it becomes a ritualized performance. And from this ritualized performance, we know from Aristotle that ultimately evolved tragedy as well as comedy. Okay. And all the Sophoclean play and the plays of Sophocles and Aeschylus and Euripides, they used to be performed in this festival of Dionysus. So it's very clear that Greek tragedies, the Greek drama and theater, they evolved from this festival, that is the ritual of Dionysus. And if you look at, though this is not our focus right now, the Indian context, if we look at the ancient classical Sanskrit drama, there also we find the same connection, the ritual drama connection. And what is the most popular, most important and most popular ritualized? That is the yagga. Yagga, that is the fire sacrifice. This fire sacrifice. Okay, it is the most important Vedic ritual or ritualized performance. Why it is a ritualized performance? It is systematic, it is patterned, it's a series of action and religious in nature. And if you just think of, many of you I think are familiar with the visual, with the optical dimension of a fire sacrifice or yagga, the setup, the material setup, the physical arena, the center stage. The center stage means the altar where actually the sacrifice is taking place. Audience is also there. The audiences are coming for seeking divine blessings and they are watching the performance taking place. Mantras are there, uttered by the rishis, the sages, who are directly performing the yagga, dialogues. And what is the ultimate effect of this performance? Divine blessing. So mimesis, mimesis is taking place here. The setup is here. Characters are here. Okay. The purpose is here. One very definite purpose is also here. So this is very much a ritualized performance, which we can say that ultimately gives birth to the tradition of drama and theater during the classical Sanskrit period in ancient India. And we see the detailed discussion in Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni, which is a huge, compendium, that can be called a huge compendium involving song, music, dance, drama, everything. It's a huge book. It's a seminal work, perhaps greater than Aristotle's Poetics in its scope, extension, and reach and detailing. So this is the idea that so far we have got regarding the origin of drama and theater. Okay, so ritual, what is ritual? Where rituals are coming from? The basic human instinct for survival and evolution. And then also this is the origin of the Greek drama, the ritual of Dionysus, and also just briefly to the Indian context also, there also we find similar ritualized performances gradually paving the way for the evolution of drama and theater in India. Okay. Now we are moving to a different aspect here. Having said all these things in the background, keep all these things in your mind, whatever we said so far. Now we are coming to the concept of absolute drama. What happened here? Now, from that Aristotelian concept of drama and theater, as I said before, there evolved a tradition, a continuous, dominant, powerful tradition of universal drama. And in this universal drama, we find some very common features, which I have cited here. And these common features, most of you would agree with this, that these are the most common features we have found in almost all the plays, in almost all the, dramatic texts that you have read so far down the centuries. Now, if you look at the first point, these are the points, the features of absolute drama. What is this? Mimetic. Drama must be mimetic. That means drama represents reality. Drama imitates reality and it represents the reality to the audience. And while representing the reality, what is the claim it is making? What is the claim? Drama claims that it is representing the real. Or, in other words, drama is claiming as if something which is very orderly, which is very, full of order, full of unity, very much coherent, very much systematic. No, it is not possible. That is the idea now. So, mimesis has become a problematic concept in the present time. Okay. Next one, the next point, the theme. If we look at the theme of absolute drama, what is the theme? So many things from Shakespeare to G.B. Shaw, you have seen so many themes have been presented in drama and theater. So many issues are there. But you just think of the themes and subject matters. Different kinds of themes, different kind of issues have been presented, have been brought in within the purview of drama, but everything has been dealt with, everything has been discussed as if in terms of some interpersonal relationship. You look at all the dramas, you look at all the dramatic texts. This is the most dominant motive in the thematic of the universal drama. This is the most dominant thematic motive in the universal idea of drama. And mostly or hardly do we find the marginal issues. People from slum, people from the margins of the society. Okay, alternative sexuality, for example. We don't find any of the things presented here. So in terms of theme, very much traditional, where many of the thematics of the society has been kept outside the purview of drama. So mostly we find themes discussed or presented in terms of interpersonal relationship. Then we have the third point, that is this universal idea of drama. It is absolutely literary. It is text-driven. It is text-centric. It is absolutely authorial. Author becomes the owner of the text. Whatever he decides, that happens, or that has to happen. So it is absolutely text-centric. It is absolutely playwright-centric. It is totally authorial. And now the fourth feature. So we have seen the theme, we have discussed the thematic, which is very limited. Then look at the form, F-O-R-M, form of the drama. The form, what is this form? This form has been regarded as trans-historical universal form. The form of drama, starting from Shakespeare. The primary idea of Aristotle, the 5 divisions, okay? The 5 divisions of Greek tragedy. In Elizabethan stage, we have seen the 5 acts. Again, the exposition, complication, climax, fall, catastrophe. So the same pattern. Then also the dramatic unities, unity of time, unity of place, okay? So all these unities have been maintained, and the plot and character relationship. So drama, in spite of its innovations down the centuries, it remains very much limited or confined within that Aristotelian concept of absolute drama, which becomes something like absolute, inviolable, which cannot be violated. So what we find from these absolute drama features, drama becomes a verbal construct. These are very important, all these terms. Drama becomes a verbal construct. Costumes, settings, even acting, they all become secondary. They all become secondary. And what remains then? It is the word. The word, because it is literary, it is verbal construct. The play text, the dramatic text is most important. So it is the word which is primary here. Everything else is secondary. The only primary thing is the word. That is, it becomes absolutely logocentric. It becomes absolutely the literary content centric. It becomes dramatic theater, where form is disregarded. It becomes a dramatic theater. It is no more performative theater. It becomes dramatic theater, where it becomes literary, it becomes the play text centric, it becomes the playwright centric, where the form, the structure of drama, it becomes something like universal. Time is changing, but the form of drama is not changing with time. Time is changing, but the form of drama is not changing that much. So this is the problem. This is the crisis of drama. This is the crisis of drama pointed out by this very famous theater critic of the 20th century, Peter Zondy. Peter Zondy has written a very important book, very, very important, Theory of Modern Drama. It is originally written in German, 1956, English translated into English in the year 1987. And there, whatever I have said regarding the absolute drama and the problems of absolute drama, all these have been pointed out by Peter Zondy. So this is the crisis of drama. Drama is suffering from this crisis. And as a result, in the 20th century, drama becomes this dramatic theater, this Aristotelian concept of dramatic theater. it becomes unsustainable. It cannot survive. That is what Peter Zonde has felt. It cannot survive anymore because it is not changing with time. Okay? I hope this part is clear to you. Now I am moving to the Brechtian part. So here, Peter Zonde has said something as a solution. What is the solution of this crisis of drama? What is the solution? Peter Zonde has said that the solution has come in the form of Bertolt Brecht. The solution to this crisis has come in the form of Bertolt Brecht. And what Brecht has brought in? Epic theater. I think you are familiar with this term, epic theater. What is epic theater? According to Zonde, this is the most significant challenge to dramatic theater of the Aristotelian style. This is the most significant challenge. Why? Now I have cited here some features of epic theater and why and how it is challenging the Aristotelian concept of absolute drama. So what is the first feature in the epic theater of Brecht? Here we find, number one, the first requirement, the first proposition of Brecht. Brecht has talked a lot about his theater. He has written, he has produced many theater, but at the same time, he has written a lot about his theater. So what is the main features we find? The first one, distance between audience and the stage reality. There must be a distance between audience and the reality that is shown on the stage, that is represented on the stage. There must be a gap. There must be a distance between these two, the audience and the stage reality. So when I say that there must be a distance between audience and stage reality, instantly it becomes what? Anti-mimetic or anti-mimetic. Okay, so the moment I say there must be distance between the audience and the stage reality, audience should not be one with the stage reality. Audience should never feel that, oh yes, this is the real. Oh, this is the real Hamlet, and I am also like Hamlet. I am also like Macbeth. I am also like King Lear. No, this mimesis or this mimesis should not happen in theater. So therefore, distance between audience and the stage reality. And as a result, it becomes anti-mimetic. And how this anti-mimetic, or what is the term actually, terminology Brecht has used? He has called it Estrangement Effect. In German, this is Zerfremdungseffekt. Zerfremdung means in German, this is actually a compound, Zerfremdung. Zerfremdung means estrangement, alienation, separation. Separation between the audience and the stage reality. Why this is necessary? Next point. Why this is necessary? Because to show that stage reality is only the representation of reality, not reality itself. So Brecht is challenging the basic concept of Aristotelian drama and theater. Brecht is challenging the basic concept of Aristotelian drama. What he is saying? He is saying that reality has to be shown in such a way that audience must realize that this is not the reality. This is only the representation of reality. This is one representation of reality. There may be many other representations of reality. So Brecht is making his audience very clear, very conscious about the fact that whatever he is showing on the stage, that is not the real, but it is only a representation of reality. Okay? So audience must realize this fact, it is only a representation of reality. Audience must realize it so that they can critically appreciate it. So what is the need for this estrangement? The purpose is that audience should realize this difference, that the audience should realize that this is only a representation of reality. For what purpose? So that they can critically appreciate it. When you become one with Hamlet, and all the time when watching the play, when you keep thinking that, oh, I am also like Hamlet, I'm also like Macbeth, then would you be able to critically appreciate the character of Hamlet or Macbeth? No, because you yourself has become, Macbeth or Hamlet or whatever. The audience has become Hamlet. The audience has become Macbeth. So therefore, this distance is very, very necessary. Now, let us look at the ideological perspective. Why Brecht is doing this estrangement? Why? What is the ideological necessity? This is important because Brecht himself, he was a Marxist. He was a Marxist, in terms of his ideology. So therefore, we need to understand what is the ideological background of his theater. In the Marxist view of history, there are many views of history in different philosophies, in different ideologies, but in the Marxist view of history, what we find? Human history progresses, I'm just going very slow in this part, that human history, our history, progresses or moves ahead through what? Through the dialectic of class conflict. Okay, to be very brief about the Marxist view of history, human history or human society, they are moving through the dialectic of class conflict. What are the classes? The class of the powerful, the class of the powerless. Or the class of the powerless means the working class people, maybe the farmers, maybe the laborers, etc. And the powerful class, in Marxist terminology, the bourgeois class. The class which has owned all the wealth and resources of the society and also the production and distribution right. So this is the bourgeois class, this is the powerful class. And human society is moving through the class conflict. The class conflict between these two classes. Now, you may ask that if this class conflict is going on, then why we can't see this class conflict, before our eyes all the time? Why we can't understand it? Why we can't realize it? Because this class conflict is happening at the base of the society. What is the meaning of this word base? Base means something which lies under the surface. Something which lies under the surface, or maybe the bottom of the society. So base is the bottom of the society, which you cannot see through your naked eyes. You need to understand it. So class conflict is happening at the base of the society, and we, the ordinary citizens, we see only the superstructure. Superstructure means the surface of the society. And in the surface, we see what? All is well. Everything is fine. Nothing wrong is happening. And this nothing wrong is happening, nothing bad is happening to our society. This is the ideology of the powerful class. Okay. So the real problem is happening at the base, but we cannot see it because as a citizen of this society, we see only the superstructure. Now, what Brecht is doing here through his theater, as a Marxist, Brecht is exposing the base through his theater. I hope this is clear to you. As a Marxist, what Brecht is doing? Brecht is trying to expose the base which is there under the surface of the society. And he is exposing this base through his theater. And how he is doing this? What is the technique? What is the methodology? Performative methodology. He is doing this. He has adopted or he has innovated many techniques of performance or dramaturgical technique. What is the technique? Gestural acting is one such technique, where the actors, Brecht actually, he has never called his actors actors. He has called them demonstrators. So demonstrators, what kind of performance they are performing? They are doing gestural acting. That means they are acting in such a way that it becomes quite clear from their acting, from their body movement, from their body gestures, it becomes quite clear that what is their class background. What is their class background, or what is the class reality which is lying inside the character. This becomes very clear through his acting, through his physical acting. Then also decoration of the stage, placards, festoons, okay, film projections, every type of decoration has been used by Brecht. Music is also there. Music is very important in epic theater, solo music or choral music, chorus. And all these methodologies have been adopted for what purpose? To interrupt the natural flow of the dramatic action. To interrupt the natural flow of action. That means if there is a natural flow of action, cause and effect, natural flow of action, then it will be mimesis. But Brecht cannot accept mimesis because mimesis, it creates illusion. It does not present any reality. It presents the illusion of reality, and it asks you to believe in that illusion. So Brecht is destroying mimesis. And therefore, he is interrupting the natural flow of action on the stage. So therefore, here, next point, no suspension of disbelief. No suspension of disbelief. That means the audience, they should not suspend their disbelief. They should not suspend it. Rather, audience have been encouraged to disbelieve, to doubt, to suspect the action on the stage. Whatever is shown, you should doubt it. You should critically appreciate it. You should disbelieve it. And for disbelieving, you need estrangement. Estrangement is therefore essential. Okay, so finally, what we find in Brechtian epic theater, the last point you see, Brecht, what he is ultimately giving to the audience, that means us. Brecht giving his theater not as a finished product. He is not giving theater as a finished product, but he is giving us what? Theater in the making. That means how theater has been made in a capitalist society. He is exposing the base, which we cannot understand, which we cannot realize, because we are under the influence of the dominant ideology of the time. We are under the influence that, okay, everything is fine. But Brecht is making us conscious about the reality which is hidden from us in the capitalist society. So therefore, theater is not a finished product. In Aristotelian theater, in Shakespearean theater, in other theaters, Bernard Shaw or any other, Oscar Wilde, whatever, we see theater as a finished product, like a product, like any commodity that you purchase from shop. Anything, a chocolate or anything, whatever. Okay, a dark chocolate. You are buying the dark chocolate wrapped up in a beautiful cover. But do you ever care to understand that where the ingredients, that means the cocoa, how it is obtained, or where from it is collected, at what price, or what kind of exploitation is happening in the plantation of cocoa? Do we ever care to know that? No. We buy the chocolate because it looks so good and we know that it tastes very good. and the packaging. It comes as a finished product. So Brecht is unmaking the theater, and he is giving us theater in the making. This is, you need to understand this term, theater in the making, how theater is being made in the capitalist society. And thereby he is exposing the capitalist society, the class conflict and the class exploitation. Okay, so this is Brechtian epic theater very briefly. Now, Peter Zondy, the critic, the writer of Theory of Modern Drama, Peter Zondy has said that because of these features, Brecht has rescued drama from this crisis. Brecht has successfully rescued drama from this crisis. Okay, this is the argument of Peter Zondy. Now let's go to the next slide. This is the final slide of my discussion. Now I am referring to another critic, a very famous, perhaps the most important theater scholar of our time, Hans Thies Lehmann. Hans Thies Lehmann has written a book in the year 1999, and the name of the book is Post-Dramatic Theater. Post-Dramatic Theater. Okay, so what Lehmann is saying here, Lehmann said that no, I cannot agree with Peter Zondy. Peter Zondy has pointed out very correctly that there is a crisis of drama. That is right, that is true. He is absolutely true that there is a crisis in the Aristotelian tradition of drama. There is a crisis. But his argument that Brecht has rescued drama from this crisis by his epic theater, that is not correct. So Lehmann argues that Brecht is very significant. He is very important. Brecht is perhaps the most important theater practitioner in the 20th century. But Brecht fails to solve the crisis of drama. This is the argument of Lehmann. Why? Why is this argument? Next point. Brecht, this is Lehmann's argument. Brecht shows that it is the representation of reality. I said it before in the previous slide, if you can remember this one. Brecht has said that this is only the representation of reality, not reality itself. It is the representation of reality. Now, Lehmann is saying that, yes, Brecht has said it is the representation of reality, not reality itself. But, this is important, but Brecht acknowledges that reality exists and can be shown, can be presented. This part is very important. What Lehmann is arguing? Lehmann is saying that Brecht is very important because he has done a very important challenge. He has given us a very important challenge to the Aristotelian concept of theater, that is mimesis. But problem is there in Brechtian theater. What is the problem? That Brecht is saying that it is not reality on the stage, it is the representation of reality. But while Brecht is saying that it is only a representation of reality, he is also acknowledging, not openly, but this is the implication, that Brecht is acknowledging that reality exists because Brecht is a Marxist. After all, till the last time of his life, Brecht remains committed to the Marxist ideology. And Brecht is challenging the capitalist representation of reality of our time. Brecht is challenging the capitalist representation of reality of our time, the capitalist theater of our time. And his argument, Brecht's argument, is that this is not the correct representation of reality, but the correct representation of reality will be when or what? The representation which is made by the working class people, the proletariat, the representation which will be made by the working class, the peoples, that will be the people's representation of themselves. This is the bourgeoisie representation. This is bourgeois representation. This has to be rejected. But the original representation is there, which cannot be made now, because now the powerful class is the bourgeois and the powerless class are the workers. So this cannot be done now. I am only showing you Brecht. Brecht is only showing us that this is the problem in theater, and this representation of reality, which we know that this is the original representation, this is not original representation, this is false, incorrect. But a better representation of reality can be possible when there will be a change in the class conflict, when there will be a change in the class hierarchy. When the powerless class becomes powerful, then there will be the correct representation of reality. This is Brechtian thesis. So Brecht acknowledges that reality exists and can be shown. And this is reality can be shown. The real reality can be shown, can be presented. This is where Brecht becomes problematic in the post-structuralist world. This is problematic because, in the postmodern, post-structuralist view of world, so many realities are there that what is the real? It seems lost. It becomes lost. We don't know. There are so many versions of reality. There can be so many representations of reality. In our time, in this time which we call the media society, the media society, we are living in a media society. We are living in a time, in a world which also called the post-truth world, the post-truth world, post-truth world. So an incident happens. Suppose an incident happened. And then how do we come to know about the incident? There are so many media. There are so many representations. There are so many versions. And there are so many realities. So from one reality, which might have happened somewhere, we don't know, there come out so many realities. And ultimately we become confused that which one is the real. And as a result, the real might have lost somewhere. So this becomes the time when we celebrate the loss of reality. The plurality is such that it becomes a plural world. There is no singular meaning. So in this world, which we call the post-truth world, in this society, which we call the media society or the mediatized society, here the real is not possible. It cannot be presented. It cannot be presented or represented on the stage in a very orderly manner, in a very systematic, coherent manner. This is not possible in the current view of the world. So we are celebrating the loss of reality here, and in this world, even Brechtian theater becomes problematic. Brechtian theater also becomes problematic here. Okay. Now, Lehmann is proposing a new kind of theater. Actually, this kind of theater has already started from 1960s and 70s of our time. But Lehmann is theorizing this particular type of theater, which he has called post-dramatic theater. Post-dramatic theater. Okay. So this is post-dramatic. Lehmann has also called it post-Brechtian. He said that it is post-Brechtian, but that does not mean that we are ignoring Brecht. Brecht is the most important, theater character in the 20th century. And it is because of Brecht, all these are happening. It is because of Brecht that all these are happening, but there is a problem in Brechtian theater. So in post-dramatic theater, what is the argument of Lehmann? Lehman is saying that here in post-dramatic theater, we are coming out from the dramatic tradition of theater. Dramatic tradition of theater means the Aristotelian, the main source, the Aristotelian dramatic concept of theater. And here we are making a turn. What is this turn? Turn to performance. Performance becomes the most important thing. And this post-dramatic theater, actually, this becomes, this is always studied in connection with performance theory also. Performance theory, which becomes a very important field of critical theory in our time, that anything you do in your life, anything you do, any action you perform in your life is performance. If there is an observer to that action, that becomes a performance. Even suppose if you perform before in your room before a mirror, standing before a mirror, if you perform, that can also be a performance because you are watching yourself. So performance becomes a vital, most vibrant domain of critical theories now. And theater has been perceived now in terms of performance. So theater as performance, not as dramatic theater or dramatic literature, not literary, forget about literary. Theater as performance, that becomes the most important thing. So what is performance? If we briefly look at this point, performance means any life action, individual or collective. Okay, we have already discussed ritualized performance. That time also performance was happening. It is not new, but the theorization of performance, it has become something new. So any life action, individual or collective, observers are there with observers, and this is also called by this term doing, D-O-I-N-G, doing. So whatever performance is taking place, it is also called doing. That is an action. Something is being done, doing. Okay? And theater as performance, which is called the theatrical performance. Theatrical performance, when theater becomes performance-centric, theater becomes not the dramatic text-centric, but theater becomes performance-centric. Then this performance, theatrical performance, is called what? Showing, doing. This is actually some terminologies for your easy understanding. So performance can be called doing, and when you are making the performance as a theatrical performance, that performance become pre-planned, premeditated, and systematic performance. That means when you perform something as a theater, obviously, because it is theater, then it becomes pre-planned, premeditated, a pattern must be there, a systematization must be there, standardization must be there, okay? So that performance now is called not doing only, but showing, doing. You are showing your doing to the audience. So this is called now showing, doing, okay? Showing, doing can be anything, like it can be a theatrical performance. It can also be a sporting event. For example, the Olympics, which is coming. Olympics can also be a showing, doing. It can be a political rally of any big political leader, anything, any type of political rally, a procession, michil, we call, okay? So sporting event, political rally, any assembly, any gatherings, any systematic, which is actually following some rules and regulations, some pattern. So these can be called, this performance can be called showing, doing. So now theater has become showing, doing in total opposition to the dramatic theater. So dramatic text now, then what happens to the dramatic text? You may ask this question, that what happens to the dramatic text? Is it becomes completely obsolete, outdated? No. Dramatic text is also important in this post-dramatic theater. Dramatic text is still important, but what kind of text? Writerly text, not authorial text, that the playwright has decided this and therefore this is final. So this is not happening anymore in this post-dramatic theater. text has become writerly text. Among many other components of theater, among many other ingredients of theater, text has also become a part only a part, nothing else. It can be modified, it can be remodified, it can be used only as a background. Okay, it can be used only as a remote background. It can only be used as a remote reference to the main performance. So text can be used in several ways now. And next point, C, what is the purpose of this post-dramatic theater? Why is it necessary? Because here we find the attempt is, what is the attempt? Attempt to present or negotiate the unpresentable reality. I have mentioned this term so many times in my lecture. Unpresentable reality. The reality that we are living now, this is unpresentable reality. So for this unpresentable reality, if you say, following Aristotle, if you say that, okay, this is the reality, this is, I have systematized it, I have made it orderly, I have made it full of system, and now you have it, consume it. This kind of theater becomes less sustainable now, not feasible enough. Therefore, in post-dramatic theater, what we find, they are trying to present the unpresentable reality. The reality has been presented in such a manner that the audience, they themselves feel that, oh, this is really unpresentable. This is chaotic. This is without any system. This is without any rules. This is as it is in the external world. As it is in the external world. Okay. So, what is the difference from this Aristotelian mimesis? Here also they are representing reality. Here also in post-dramatic theater, here also they are representing reality. But you try to understand this. In mimesis, the reality which has been represented, that has been, fashioned, refashioned in an orderly manner, in a systematic manner, in a coherent manner, and then it has been made for your ready consumption so that you can easily understand it, you can easily appreciate it as something which has to be consumed by the audience for your easy understanding. But here, it's not happening. Here, the audience has been shocked. The audience has been attacked. The audience, sometimes they feel very much shocked. Why? Because the reality is that much shocking. The reality that we are living in our time, it is equally shocking. That's why the same shock has been created, the same fragmentation, the same incoherence has been created on the stage of post-dramatic theater. Okay. So therefore, finally, the last thing, this is the form, this is the appropriate form for this historical time. This historical time means our media society, our post-truth world. In this world, when, say for example, like Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, we are celebrating the loss of reality. In Midnight's Children, when you read this particular novel, you will see that reality has not been sought as it was done by some modernist writer, that they were striving to find, they were seeking reality. Reality is hidden somewhere, and that has to be discovered. It is there. But here in this world, that view has been changed. Now we don't know where the real existing or whether it is existing at all. It is the loss of reality, and that is being celebrated. So the same thing is happening here in post-dramatic theater also. And this is the form, this is the theatrical form for this particular historical time. What kind of historical time? The media society and the post-truth world. So after having listened to all these things, okay, the evolution of the concept of Aristotelian theater, universal concept of theater, then the Brechtian challenge, and finally the post-dramatic theater as theorized by Hans Thies Lehmann. After hearing all this, now if you look back at the first point, what is drama and what is theater? Are they similar? Actually, now we can say, if we strictly follow the post-dramatic theatrical pattern, we can say that drama and theater now they have moved far apart. They have moved far apart. If you consider this new development of post-dramatic theater, they have moved far apart. Drama and theater, they have become sometimes, in some cases, totally different academic disciplines. But having said that, in spite of these differences, in spite of this alienation, estrangement between drama and theater, even after that, we can say we cannot fully deny the Aristotelian kind of theater, which is still dominant in most societies of our time, still dominant. If you go and watch any theater in your town, in our small towns, we are living in small towns actually, even in metro cities also, if you go, I mean, even now, the dramatic tradition of theater, the tradition of dramatic theater, which we call the Aristotelian dramatic tradition of theater, that is still prevalent, that is still dominant. But in spite of that, in conformity with this new world view of our time, there actually was bound to happen a new experiment. In the first half of the 20th century, we have seen the experimental theaters of Antonin Artaud or Samuel Beckett and then Brecht. And now, as a result of our time, as the requirement of our time, now we see another experimentation, which is the post-dramatic theater. Okay, so I have taken a lot of time actually. This is almost more than near about 1.5 hours I have taken testing your patience. So this much for my session today. So I'm just calling it a day, and now it's up to you. If you have any observations, if you have anything here, so you can tell me here. Susant sir?
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring, enlightening, and thought-provoking lecture, and most importantly, for giving your time and making your presence here in this platform. Thank you, sir. Now, the students who are present here, if you have any query regarding different aspects of the drama and theater, which have been discussed in this special lecture session, you can ask our resource person, Dr. Joydeep Bhattacharyya.
Is everything clear to you? Because actually I have not focused on a particular text according to your syllabus, but actually what I have tried here to get some of the basic things clear for you, which may be useful for you in future, maybe this semester or the next one, or maybe in future. Okay, so if you have anything.
I think everything is clear to our students. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So finally, we have come to the end of the special lecture session. Now, I'd like to request Mr. Prajnajyoti Dutta for presenting the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So let me start with the oft-quoted line in post-pandemic academia. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Good afternoon, one and all gathered here on this virtual platform. First of all, it's an honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all of them who made this special lecture a successful one. First and foremost, I convey my heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Debnath, for not only encouraging us to conduct this special lecture, but also for his continuous support all in all our endeavors. Principal Sir has blessed us with his gracious presence, and I also thank him on behalf of the entire Department of English, Cooch Behar College. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to the esteemed speaker, Dr. Joydeep Bhattacharyya, who spared precious time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion and enlighten and illuminate us with various nuances of drama and theatre. Sir has meticulously and with great detail talked about the genesis and genealogy of drama right from antiquity through to its modern renderings. Sir has also aptly pointed out how drama and theatre as a performative art has went through several changes in due course of time and how it has evolved into its modern form. And so your lecture was also in tandem with the different trends in critical theories like post-structuralism and post-truth, etc. And sir, honestly speaking, I was absolutely enthralled by your enriching lecture. I am sure today's special lecture has provided the students a deep insight into their understanding of the mentioned topic. I extend my gratitude to the respected head of the department, Professor Tariqul Islam, for his unfaltering support and confidence in us, and also for being a guiding force to guide us through his valuable inputs from time to time. I would also like to thank all the faculty members, Professor Pallab Kumar Sarker, Professor Susanta Das, and Professor Anindita Dutta, for their cooperation and untiring efforts to steer forward the special lecture and make it a successful one. My deep sense of thanks and appreciation goes to all the students and participants who were live with us and attended this special lecture with great enthusiasm and made it a great success. In the end, thank you all for being with us today. Have a wonderful day ahead. Sir,
Thank,
over to you.
thank you, all of you. It's a great honor on my part as well, and it's always nice to make new friends. And also, I'm so happy to see so many students present. I mean, this is very good for your department also. So I'd like to thank all students and the department faculties. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. You may leave now.